This is Public Property, the show which gives you the power to change lives. Now, 3 days ago, these 7 people put themselves in your hands and became your public property. It's up to you to shape their immediate future. We kicked off this unique TV experiment on Monday when we met Marvin and Marcia. You decided that failed entrepreneur Marvin should work as a dog's body to pay back some of his debts. And 58-year-old Marcia should be less selfish and invite some Aussie backpackers to share her house. How generous is that? In today's show, we find out how they're getting on, and here's a little taster.
This is the first time in probably about 4 years that I've had to get up before 9 o'clock and use public transport to get to work. Join the commuters.
I honestly thought they meant 1 or 2. Now I learn it's probably going to be 5 or 6.
She thinks it's only 6. More of that later, and believe me, it's worth hanging on for. Marvin and Marcia were the first 2 participants. Today, we're going to meet the last 2. Paul and Katie from Sussex have miraculously managed to avoid that 9-to-5 grind for most of their lives. And now, would you believe, they say it's looking rather appealing. Katie and Paul will be explaining themselves very soon. But first, a bit of unfinished business. How you voted yesterday on the fate of sisters Rebecca and Carla, and teacher, or should I say ex-teacher, Mark. Now, this is Rebecca and Carla on the show yesterday. Now, the girls fancy going into business, but they're both still living at home and enjoying an easy life. So we decided to test their mettle and ask you to decide whether they should take a management course, go on a survival trip, or an army boot camp. Well, again, you voted in your thousands, and your judgment is that the girls should head off to an army boot camp. We let them know the glad tidings as soon as the final result came in, and this was their reaction.
Yes. No cabin. No spiders, no rain.
Thank you very much. We much appreciate it.
Please be kind though, Sergeant Majors.
All you soldiers out there, we're on our way.
I applaud their optimism. Rebecca and Carla are about to head off on manoeuvres as we speak, and believe me, it's not going to be the kind of manoeuvres that Carla's got in mind. They're going to be pushed to their limits, and so is their relationship, and it's all down to you. Now, what about Mark? He's given up teaching, he's thinking of jacking in his other career as a rowing coach and doing something creative. Luckily for him, he's got family money to fall back on. Now, this is Mark yesterday when we told him it's time to enter the real world by either setting up as a pavement artist and living off his earnings, becoming a mobile DJ, he likes music, lots of Agadoo and Bob the Builder, not cool, or working in a greasy spoon serving fry-ups. Now, our wise friends in the council yesterday opted for putting Mark out on the street as a pavement artist. Well, we've got a new council today and they're equally wise, I'm sure. In fact, I know they are. Now, what would you lot have gone for? Rowena, what would you have gone for Mark?
I'd say the greasy spoon.
The greasy spoon, why?
Yeah. Well, because it would give him an insight into how the other half live.
She's on the money. It's very interesting. As it happens, it's no longer relevant because it's only the viewers at home who count. And on public property, you have decided that what you want Mark to do is, I say, Rowena was right, work in a greasy spoon. And this was Mark's reaction.
Oh, wow. OK, that's cool. I thought they would go with the council, but greasy spoon. Well, at least I won't go hungry for a week. That would be quite cool. But I don't normally eat fry-ups, so that's going to be quite interesting. But I don't have to eat it, though, do I? So everyone else can. Mind you, no one else will eat my food, so I might kill a whole region of people wherever I'm going. Good luck.
It's character building, Mark, that's what my mum said. And by the way, if you're out and about in East London and you see a camera crew, give them a wave, won't you? And you never know, Mark might make you a bacon butty. He'll be knackered though, he's been up since 5:30 this morning. Right, it's time to meet the final 2 pieces in the public property jigsaw, Katie and Paul from Sussex. Now, they're what you might call an unconventional pair. They've played in bands, done a bit of theatre, and generally gone their own merry way. Well, now they've discovered doesn't pay the bills. They want you to make them normal. Please welcome Katie and Paul. Now, Katie and Paul, you have done lots of jobs really, haven't you? But what you want now is a career, is that right, Katie?
Definitely.
Why? Why do you want to sort of get on the straight and narrow?
It's because all the other jobs I've ever done, they're valuable, good ones, but basically they just paid really bad money. I enjoyed them, and they've, you know, given me insight into lots of different things, but I need a real proper, I want to be able to say, I am this. And
What kind of jobs have you done? I mean, just rhyme off a few.
I've done auxiliary nursing. I did that on and off for years as a student, and it was a very rewarding job. But it's like I said, the money's not terribly good, and sometimes it can be quite depressing.
What else? You've been a cleaner?
Yes, a cleaner. I've worked in a fish market, sorting out fish.
What about
I
you,
love
Paul?
bar work.
What about you?
Well, I had a business which was stolen from me, which is why it's not failed. It got failed for me.
Yeah, you got all your tools and everything nicked, didn't you?
I don't actually. Well, I don't want to really get into a 9-to-5 job. I don't want to get on a train and join the cacophony of sneezes and big newspapers.
You're an adventure man,
yes,
aren't you?
I want some adventure. I want something risky and dangerous. You know.
Yeah. And what do you fancy, Katie? Any ideas?
I was thinking more something like PR. I've been accused of talking too much and things.
Katie, who could have done it?
I need
I tell you, they
something
haven't seen anything yet.
I just need to be harnessed and the things I'm good at, and I love dealing with people.
Well, that gives us something to go on. Now, I called the pair of you unconventional earlier on, so what we have done is we've headed round to your house and we have found out what your mates think of you. So here it is.
Burnt, bubbled over. I made tons because I thought I was feeding loads of people, and I'm gonna have to put it all in the freezer.
Well, the best qualities of both of them, I think they're very both potential high achievers. They've got the potential to be anything they really want because they're outgoing, charismatic people.
I think they'll heed some advice, not all of it, as you'd expect. I think they'll do okay.
I can get bored, and there's nothing worse than being bored and dreading your job and feeling that your personality isn't right for that job. I think there's probably hundreds of thousands of people who are absolutely miserable in their jobs. I know what it feels like.
Worst quality, I suppose, would be her ability to control the conversation and sometimes her inability to listen.
Although Katie and Paul live in an idyllic cottage, which they share with Katie's son Oliver, they claim to be living on the breadline, which was one of the reasons they wanted to become public property.
I don't believe that Katie would fit a normal humdrum 9-to-5 cleaning job. She needs to be.
No, I can't. It doesn't
doing
pay
something.
well. It doesn't pay well. I don't mind doing 9 to 5, but it's got to be a proper career where I use my excellent brain, Paul. Is the right answer. You know.
I think because they're not your run-of-the-mill couple, Katie's always doing something different, whether it's playing with her bagpipe player or doing the local am-dram or whatever, and Paul's always there in the background somewhere, so I suppose they'd be quite an interesting couple to use.
Now kiss me! No, you're supposed to run off when I ask you to kiss me. I've got bad breath.
Practically every time you go out with them, basically you're guaranteed an embarrassing moment with Kate. I mean, she's a very outspoken person. She doesn't beat around the bush at all. I think they're the maddest couple in the whole village. I think they're known in the village as the mad couple, so, you know what I mean? I think they're pretty much game for anything.
A round of applause for the maddest couple in the village. You know, you're looking slightly embarrassed. I like that. You're the one that's supposed to be embarrassing other people, Katie.
That's not strictly true. I open my mouth and put my foot in it sometimes, but it's only myself I embarrass, I think.
Yeah, is this true, Paul?
Yes, it is really. But life with Katie is not boring. I guess it is kind of embarrassing sometimes, and I have to walk away. But no, she's fine. I mean, it's never boring.
You seem very different. I mean, you know, Katie, you're being very quiet just now, it has to be said, but people are going to get to know you over the coming weeks, and you're a very lively personality. Paul, you seem a lot quieter. How does it work between the two of you?
He tolerates me a bit.
Because I'm quite laid back, really. And Katie's a real firework. Okay. And so we're poles apart, really. But there's this magic which works with us.
He never puts me down or stops me doing what I want, which is nice.
That's a great
No,
thing.
I don't tell her what to do. She tells me what to do, but I don't tell her what to do.
Well, let's get back to what you want, because of course that's what this is all about. Now, it said in that little tape there that you know, you don't have much cash. Is this the case? I mean,
it's a nightmare.
It's a lovely house. I mean, how are you living in that house on no cash?
It's actually much cheaper than living in Brighton. I'm not quite sure why. Maybe
You were
some people
brought up
just.
there as well.
Yeah, I was brought up in the area. Most people don't want to live right in the middle of the Downs. But I do get help, obviously. But it's just a constant struggle, and I don't. I mean, I want to own my own house. I want to afford to pay a mortgage. It's not my house at the end of the day. It's
Right.
beautiful, but it's not mine.
And so you genuinely are struggling for cash?
Really, really badly. We've
It's pretty
hit
bad
rock
at the
bottom
moment.
now.
I mean, this show couldn't have come at a better time for us,
To
because
help,
we're
yeah.
quite low. We've been going down the pleasure lane and sticking there and not really getting in the work lane.
Okay.
Well, I have anyway.
Well,
It's been a struggle for me.
I'm glad that we public property couldn't have come at a better time, and I think there's no better time for your first big decision.
Yeah.
You're the last participants to face your big decision, so let's tell you a little bit about it. But first, are you ready, Katie and Paul, to surrender your free will and place your destiny in the hands of the voting public?
Yes.
Yes.
Onwards and upwards.
Okay, well, first things first, you're skint. You need some cash in the coffers. You can't pay your bills, you're both unemployed at the moment, but you're certainly not unemployable. You've got a lot of talents between you. You need to sort out your finances. So here are 3 ways of doing it. And as you know, it's up to the viewers at home which one you should pursue. Now, how about if Katie and Paul began to sell each other's possessions at a car boot sale? Now, Paul would pick
Done
Katie's
that
stuff
one.
and Katie would pick Paul's. Now, that would get the finances in order. Or that Katie and Paul should use their musical skills to make some money. You're both very talented musicians. Get out there, busking, get gigs in pubs. I think that's a great idea, that one. Or 3, Katie, perhaps you should concentrate on your writing skills. Now, you mentioned PR earlier, but I know you're also interested in journalism. Get writing and try and sell an article to a magazine. That would also be a good option. So there you go, 3 good options for Katie and Paul. Vote for the one that you think would be most appropriate. The number is there. And do it now, because Katie and Paul need your help. And they're saying to me, I think they're lovely options.
Well,
We've done first.
Oh,
That
right.
was really sad. Yeah,
Okay.
we caused huge rows.
Oh, right. Oh, well, you heard that, didn't you?
Nothing
Right.
Guess the crowds.
After the break, we'll find out what option the council go for, and we'll also be seeing how 2 of our other public property participants are getting on with the lives that you chose for them. That's Marvin and Marcia, who just can't wait for her new lodgers to arrive.
Oh, I know I'm laughing, but I'm not really.
Welcome back to Public Property, not one of those old-fashioned shows that you just watch. It's the show that you make happen. Now, Katie and Paul are here, and before the break we gave you 3 ways to help them get together some much-needed cash. And they are: 1, by selling each other's possessions at a car boot sale. And I must reiterate again, Paul picks Katie's stuff and Katie picks Paul's. Secondly, to use their musical skills to make some money. Get out busking, get some gigs in a few clubs, things like that. And 3, for Katie to try and sell her writing to a magazine, because she loves writing, and you've got plenty of stories to tell now. If you've already made your mind up, call the phone number next to your preferred option. Now, I wonder if our wise counsel here have made their minds up. What do you think, guys? We haven't spoken to you very much this week. Deborah, what do you reckon? What do you think would be the best option for Katie and Paul here?
Definitely the car boot sale. Katie's got the gift of the gab. She could sell fridges to Eskimos.
Good point.
That's very true.
It's true.
It's very good at it.
What do you think, Sarah?
I think definitely busking. I think it's something they'll both really enjoy, and I think they're obviously great performers. They'd be excellent at it, I'm sure of that.
Well, these people know you better than you
That's
know
brilliant.
yourselves.
That's
Good suggestions there.
nice.
Right, well, thank you very much, Council. You'll get your chance to vote very, very soon. But first, we have news of Marcia and Marvin, who appeared on Monday's Public Property and are now doing what you told them to do. Failed entrepreneur Marvin is working for Terry, a bloke he owes some money to, and he's not liking it one little bit.
Do I dress warm? Do I dress a little bit smart? I think I probably need to dress warm, eh? Today, what do I expect? Terry! Terry. This is the first time in probably about 4 years that I've had to get up before 9 o'clock and use public transport to get to work. Join the commuters. I'm a little bit nervous because I haven't got a clue what Terry's going to ask me to do.
I'm going to make him work very hard today.
Needless to say, he's going to expect me to earn my money.
So we'll have to bring him back down to earth a little bit from his multi-million-pound business.
I keep seeing smiles at these windows as if to say we're stitching you up, so we'll see.
Did you bring any change of clothes?
No,
Right.
I wasn't advised to. I thought my employer would have...
You're going to get your designer things a bit dirty then.
Come on, let's just do this, innit?
He's not having fun with that, Marvin, is he? Did you vote for that option on Monday, Paul?
Yes, I did. Yeah, I think he deserves it because he's an arrogant swine, really. He deserves everything that's coming to- I like him, but don't get me wrong, I love the guy. But
Yeah.
sorry, Marvin.
Don't mince your words, Paul. And what about Marcia, Katie? What did you think would be right for Marcia? Because she is now living out the life, of course. Now, the choices for Marcia on Monday were to move in the Australian backpackers, for her to move out and go into student digs, or for her to work as a care worker in an elderly people's home. What would you have gone for Marcia?
I'm glad for her that she got the Australians, but I think it would have been really good for her to do care work in an old people's home because it would have given us such a different insight and yeah.
Yeah, well, it's funny you should say that because that's
'Cause I've done
exactly
it.
what Marcia said herself. But, as you say, it's the viewers who decide, and they decided, you decided out there, that she should take in the Australian backpackers as lodgers. So here she is, waiting for them to arrive, and I tell you, she has got to be the only woman who has got to tidy up before they arrive.
When they said about Australian backpackers, I honestly thought they meant 1 or 2. Now I learn it's probably going to be 5 or 6. Oh dear. I hope I don't have to feed them because I'm no good at cooking. Perhaps they can cook for me. I'm scared to go in all this, you know, because I'm not sure what I might find. Oh dear. I hope these poor boys, men, whatever they are, know what they're coming into. Oh no, it's no good. This, I've just thought, they're not going to get a very good impression of England, are they? They think, oh, all we knew. We were told they lived in sort of, you know, that we lived in much nicer living conditions, but we didn't realise it was that bad. With a bit of luck, they might throw me a few pennies, I reckon. They see this lot. The way I feel now, I'll be asleep. I won't even let them in. The thing is, I wasn't made for this sort of life. I was born to have servants and stuff. Something just went awfully wrong. I was born into the wrong family. I haven't even got beds, let alone bedding. Do you know what? I'd not even thought of that until now. That's quite nice. I think I'll keep that. Oh, dear. Oh, I know I'm laughing, but I'm not really. Oh, it's a case of if I didn't laugh, I'd cry. I've got a feeling that this venture isn't going to go very well. It's just a feeling I've got in my bones. I think they're going to hate me. Because I hate them already, poor things, and I've never even met them.
I love you, Martha. What do we think of that? Ooh, nice. Well, Katie and Paul here are going to be in a similar boat in a few days' time, in that they will be living the life that you have chosen for them. The question is, which of the three options facing them will you vote for? And while you're making your mind up at home, let's ask our lovely council here which option they fancy. So, council members, would you please join me in the inner circle and cast your votes for Katie and Paul's options, please? Now, I know they've been thinking hard about this because I've seen the cogs moving. If the council go for option 1, which is Katie and Paul selling each other's possessions, they are going to vote red. You should call 0901 561 5001 if you think that's the best idea. If the council think they should use their musical skills to make some money, they're going to vote green. If you agree, you should call 0901 561 5002. And if the council think that Katie should try and do a bit of scribbling and sell her works to a magazine, they'll vote blue. You should call 0901 561 5003. So, the council think green, which is that you should use your musical skills. You look pleased with that, Paul?
I'm very pleased with that, yeah.
Yeah? Is that the one you prefer?
That's the best news I've had all year.
Oh, I'm glad.
Thank you very much.
Well, we would love to think that the audience at home will go with the council, but of course we've got absolutely no control over that. The viewers at home will make up their own minds, and so Katie and Paul, you now have a last-ditch attempt to influence the viewers at home. There they are out there looking at you. Now, we need some passion here. These can be hard-hearted people. What do you not want and what do you want?
Right, the first thing is we really have done the first one and it's heartbreaking. My mum said to me ages ago to stop leading the Janis Joplin lifestyle. So I thought maybe we could play some of her numbers and then write about it.
Ooh,
this is going to give me a chance to increase my repertoire. Because I only know one song.
It doesn't know more than
No, I know more really, but this will get me going. Thanks.
Oh, well, if we can bring something positive to your lives, we're very delighted. Well, Katie and Paul, thank you very much indeed. I have absolutely no sway with the people out there. They will do what they think is right. The decision is entirely yours at home, so get calling now and register your vote. All the option line numbers are on the Public Property website, where you can also find out how all of our participants are getting along. Just log on to www.itv.co.uk and click on Public Property. Now, tomorrow, if Marvin's boss Terry allows him a few hours off, he'll be joining us in the studio. We'll catch up with Mark, who's earning an honest crust in his greasy spoon. And of course, these two people here will be in suspenders, waiting for your verdict on their future. Remember, they're your property. Take good care of them. Goodbye.